Hello and welcome back to Rep Sports. I am Rahul Giri and alongside me Bharat and the Hockey World Cup have already started, but our Indian men's hockey team all set to open their campaign against Wales in just few minutes. It will be their first group stage clash, and our Indian women's hockey team will open their campaign tomorrow against China. In this show, we'll talk about the game between India and Wales and also a lot of things about this Hockey World Cup, potential of both the men's and women's team, Indian team at this World Cup, and many more things. I'm joined by Bharat. Bharat, first of all, let's take a look at the format, the new format of this Hockey World Cup, because this time there is no quarterfinal stage. Our audience actually, maybe they have some doubts regarding the new format. So this time, 16 teams have been divided into four pools. Top two teams from each pool will qualify for the second group stage, where actually the tournament will intensify, while the bottom two teams, the World Cup hopes will diminish for them. So they will play at the classification stage. Now, from the second group stage, the top two teams will qualify for the semi-final, and winners of both the semi-final will play the final, while the losers will play the bronze medal match. So that's the new format of this Hockey World Cup. But Bharat, what's your thoughts on this new format as there is no quarterfinal at this time? Do you think it's kind of advantage or disadvantage because the points, the head-to-head, the goal difference, everything will be carry forward from the group stage to the second group stage?
So yeah, it would be very important from that context to do well in the group stage in terms of your goal difference and all that. I'm not very sure whether it would be an advantage or on those lines, but I'm more from old school in the sense that try to keep it simple. Always try to keep it simple. Uh, so that the fans can understand what exactly you're trying to do. But maybe a little more from the old school. But yes, every game would be important, and when everything is carried forward, then obviously significance increases.
Absolutely. And if we talk about India, we should talk about which are the teams India will be facing, in the group stage. India have been drawn into Pool D alongside Wales, England, and Pakistan. To be honest, it has been a kind draw actually for our men's hockey team, because teams like Pakistan and Wales against them, India should win. The only challenge will be England. So realistically, India should qualify for the next round, and today India opened their campaign against Wales. But at the same time, I think India have got enough room against Wales to try and test their combination. Because sometimes you are not that lucky. Sometimes you open your World Cup campaign against a tougher opposition, but this time Wales will be playing at their second Hockey World Cup. So it's a great opportunity for Craig Fulton as well to test or do some experiment before tough games like England or tougher games at the second group stage. But Bharat is from Bangalore and exactly in the city where our Indian men's hockey team were preparing for this World Cup. So Bharat, you have also spoken to Craig Fulton as well. So after that disappointing Pro League, which are the areas where do you think that Hockey World Cup, our men's hockey team actually needed improvement, and also what actually Craig Fulton has told you before this World Cup?
So Craig Fulton, usually when you think of Craig Fulton, you look at defense. I guess he's the one who tries to look at defense as the main part. And that's what he's tried to do even in a couple of Pro League matches. One of the Pro League matches, maybe it was in Rotterdam, where I saw double layered kind of defense. And Craig Fulton is someone who believes in counterattacks and these set pieces. So I think defense will be the main point that someone like Craig Fulton would look at. And that is what he even basically talked about, not just Fulton. Even when I interviewed someone like Amit Rohidas going back into May 2026, he also talked about how they made certain mistakes with regard to their defense in some of the earlier Pro League matches, especially the first eight Pro League matches, I guess. It was based on whatever matches that I saw in that Pro League. I thought India were at their best somewhere in the Hobart leg, the league, the Hobart leg. That's basically in terms of their play. I'm not saying in terms of results, Yes, in terms of results, they went on to win a couple of matches against big teams right at the back end of that Pro League tournament. But I thought they were at their absolute best in the Bart leg. So yeah, I guess with Fulton, you will see basically they will look to have a strong defense somewhere which we noticed in the Paris Olympics, and maybe it has not been the case in the recent past. For example, if I'm not mistaken, in the first eight matches in the Pro League, India gave away 66 penalty corners, if I'm not mistaken. Around at least it was more than 60 penalty corners. And even if you look at the penalty conversion rate on the other side, it was just around 20%. So it's not just about defense. Even that penalty conversion rate, India have to look at. So maybe these are some of the aspects India would think of going in this World Cup. But when you think of Fulton, the one picture that you imagine is he will look to have a strong defense.
Absolutely, and under Craig Fulton, significantly actually India have transformed from all-out attacking play style to a defensive structure. Because before Craig Fulton, India used to play all-out, attack. That actually have defined Indian hockey for over last few years, last few decades, I would say. But under Craig Fulton actually prioritized a compact defensive structure, then press to win the ball back and to attack on counter attack. So that have been the play style of Indian men's hockey team under Craig Fulton. And also he was prioritized collective team effort rather than individual brilliance. Under Craig Fulton, we have seen this hockey team working as a unit on the pitch. And this men's hockey team, obviously, they have clinched bronze at the Paris Olympic. But now, as our Indian men's hockey team take the pitch against Wales at this Hockey World Cup, the one question that lingers around is that can they end the wait of 51 years? Because last time they clinched the title of the Hockey World Cup was in 1975. It has been 51 years. The trophy has remained elusive for our men's hockey team. They haven't even finished on the podium as well for 51 years. But now have they won two back-to-back bronze at the Olympics? Varun, do you think that this time India have a realistic chance to finish on the podium after almost 5 decades?
Oh, it's tough. On paper, it seems tough. You know, India's form wasn't good. India's form wasn't good in the Pro League. Yes, somewhere at the back end of the tournament, it picked up a little bit over the last couple of years. It's not exactly
Yes.
been the best, especially the key would be how they would come up, how they would play against the bigger teams, European teams. If they're going to meet, obviously they will meet them at some point of time. So I think that will be the biggest test for India. Someone like if they're going to play Belgium, obviously there was a time when India had some kind of a psychological barrier against Australia as well. So these are the teams that when they're going to meet, India would be up against it. Yes, India in World Cups have had a bad time. The I think at least over the last 32 years that I have watched Hockey World Cups, their best performance was perhaps somewhere in 1994 itself. The first time I ever watched a Hockey World Cup as a kid, maybe they were placed fifth, somewhere around fifth. That was their best performance. Sometimes you can say they were a little bit unlucky here or there. Sometimes India were just not good enough. So history doesn't really agree, even when it was held in India over a couple of times, two, three times. India were not able to perform well in Hockey World Cups. Maybe, hopefully, it will uh, be turned around this time around. Someone like Fulton, when I asked him, he said, we're basically an underdog. So that also kind of helps us. Let the big teams like Belgium, let them take over the favorite stack, and as a kind of underdog, we will try to lift our game. So I will like to ask you a question as well. I think you had an interview with Paddy Upton
Sure.
with regard to this World Cup. So what exactly did he say in terms of the psychological barrier that India has to kind of break on those lines?
That was, a great conversation actually with Paddy Upton. We all know he's a mental conditioning coach. He has worked with the Indian cricket team, and also previously, earlier also he has worked with the Indian men's hockey team before the Paris Olympic. And apart from hockey and cricket, he has worked with multiple athletes across the world. He's a great human being, and that was a really engaging conversation. The one, point that I still remember from that conversation is that actually how he is preparing this hockey team mentally for this World Cup. Because if you want to win a major tournament like World Cup or say Olympics or say Asian Games, you will go through adversity, you will go through difficult situation. So the job of a mental conditioning coach is to prepare your team for such condition. So that actually Indian men's hockey team again underwent a 3-day session with Paddy Upton, in Swiss Alps, in high altitude. So there they used to have such kind of sessions where mentally, where he used to put players, hockey players, in mentally challenging condition, so that they can get themselves fully prepared for such adversity or adverse condition during a major tournament like Hockey World Cup. Because in a major tournament like World Cup, you will go through a situation where might be your team might be trailing by 2 or 3 goals, where you might have to play with one or two players short, where you have to face similar different kind of situation. Actually, you might be get wrong decision from the referee. So how your player will deal with such kind of conditions? So that's the job of a mental conditioning coach like Paddy Upton. That was a really engaging conversation. I hope that Indian team has underwent a 3-day session under Paddy Upton, and now he also the mental coach of this hockey team throughout the World Cup. And also, he'll be there at the Asian Games as well. I hope that will work wonders for this hockey team. Of course, we'll continue our conversation. We'll continue this show, and also our viewers who are watching. You can also join us, by commenting in the comment section below. What's your thoughts? What's your prediction regarding this game? You can let us know in the comment section below. But before continue, we will hear from our hockey men's team head coach Craig Fulton, what he has said to Bharat actually before this hockey World Cup.
Hi, yes, sir. Craig Fulton. Welcome to this short interview.
Thank you very much.
So, how is it going on a slightly lighthearted note?
Yeah, good. It's exciting. I think we've just finished our fourth week camp, our 4 week camp now. We had a warm up game against India A group, and it was successful. It was enjoyable.
A little more about the preparations going into a couple of big tournaments coming up.
Yeah, I think selection is done for both now, for World Cup and for Asian Games, which is good. And we've had a tough 4 week camp, and I think the guys are just over 2.5 weeks to the tournament. So we leave tomorrow night, and we'll head to Switzerland for a team build, and we'll be there for 3 days, and then we'll break away into Holland and finalize all our final preparations, and then we play 2 warm-up games, one against Argentina, one against Japan, and then we'll play on the 15th, first game against Wales.
You talked about selection. There was one interesting player there that was missing from the India squad for the World Cup. That is Rajkumar Pal, but is there in the Asian Games squad. So how do you look at this particular selection?
Yeah, I think we look at the youth selection with Aditya, one for the future. He needs a tournament, and no disrespect to Raj, he could have played the World Cup as well. He was up playing well, but we also need our full experience in Asian Games.
Okay. Obviously, India.
That was really a nice conversation, Bharat. I think this Indian team under Craig Fulton has left no stone unturned in their preparation for the Hockey World Cup. They have played some warm-up games before this World Cup. But I think what actually helped this team, playing the European League of the Pro League recently, where they have actually defeated teams like Germany, Netherlands, and also they have drawn both the game. Actually, both the games against England during that European League in the Pro League went into the shootout, where India won one game while England won one of the game. Also, they have defeated Pakistan by bigger margins. I think playing some warm up or friendly game against some weaker opponent, it's better to play against teams like Netherlands and Germany. And also, I would say the team actually picked at the right moment before this World Cup. So that encouraging performance during that uh, dying stages of the Pro League, I think have boosted the confidence of this Indian men's hockey team before this World Cup. But Bharat, as you were speaking to Craig Fulton, do you think that Craig Fulton have plan B? Suppose if Harmanpreet Singh doesn't work during penalty conversion.
Oh, that's difficult to say. Obviously, he would look at someone like Jugraj. A few others are there, but even if you look at someone like Jugraj, he's been a little bit what you could say inconsistent. when it comes to penalty conversion. So that is something that India have to look at. Even if I look at their stats, uh, I guess as I noted, India have converted only about 20% of their penalty corners uh, or the Pro League, and that's very much less. Someone like Belgium is perhaps around 34%. That is 14% more. Yeah, India would definitely try out Jugraj Singh. India would try out someone like maybe Amandeep Lakra as well, in that sense, here or there. But obviously, a lot of focus would be on someone like Harmanpreet. He's not been at his absolute best in the last couple of years. He was one of the obviously key figures when India went on to win the bronze medal at the Olympics. So India would be definitely hoping that he will be at his absolute best. But I'm not very sure he's at the peak of his prowess. Hopefully, fingers crossed from India's point of view, he will come good in this World Cup because I somehow feel as if the opposition teams are kind of picking the angles, kind of picking Harmanpreet's drag flicking. So that is something that India will be a little bit worried about.
Yeah.
But he's not doing well. I think they will look at a couple of other names that I already mentioned. So if you want to add something on Harmanpreet's form or on this lines.
Absolutely, I think Harmanpreet going to this World Cup as one of the best drag flicker and also is one of the integral member of this Indian men's hockey team as well. But in the last couple of years, if you see, there's a sharp decline in the number of goals that Harmanpreet Singh have scored from the penalty conversion. If you go back to Paris Olympic, in that Olympic as well, Harmanpreet have scored, if I'm not mistaken, 7 out of 10 goals from the penalty corners. So it says clearly that how much Indian hockey team is reliant on Harmanpreet Singh and his penalty conversion skill. But now, as I have already mentioned, that India needs to find a plan B. If suppose Harmanpreet doesn't work against teams like England or some strong teams, then also India need to have plan B. And I hope that Craig Fulton have worked on that plan B, as you have already mentioned that players like Jugraj Singh, Amit Rohidas is also there who will be the plan B during the penalty conversion. Harmanpreet need to score as well because we all know how much reliant Indian hockey team is on Harmanpreet. Every time Harmanpreet have scored, the winning chance of India, increases by 66%. But at the same time, we all know that how technology have helped the game to evolve over the past few years because now opponents comes into game with a better study of Harmanpreet Singh. So now it gets more difficult for Harmanpreet Singh actually to exploit on that penalty conversion. So obviously eyes will be on Harmanpreet Singh. India will need Harmanpreet Singh to deliver in defense, also in penalty conversion, but at the same time others also need to step in suppose if Harmanpreet Singh fails to deliver. But apart from that, let's talk a bit about today's game against Wales. Bharat, next will be against England, then against Pakistan. But what's your expectation? What kind of challenges are you expecting from this Wales team?
Yeah, obviously, India are the favorites to win this one. I don't need to say more about that because if you just look at India and Wales, I expect India to come out on top. Yeah, it's not like Wales will be completely pushovers. They have their strengths. Maybe a couple of players. One is Draper. Looking forward to. There's one more, Chinson. There is one more. Maybe it is Furlong. So three, four players have watched in the past. It's not a bad team. It's just about decent side, but still, you expect India to come out on top. Although I would add a caveat to it because in the past I've seen India have not started these big tournaments well, especially World Cups well. Even when they're playing against slightly weaker sides, I've seen them kind of falter. You might hit back at me by saying that, "Come on, the personnel have changed. Past is past, and present is present." But still, at some point of time, I think there will be a little bit of psychological barrier when you've not done well in World Cups for such a long period of time. I think there will be a little bit of mental barrier for the Indian team. So it's important that they start well. Obviously, the first 10, 15 minutes, they could be little, that could be a few nerves in the Indian camp. But they have to somehow overcome it and get a goal or two, and then obviously after that you expect them to just march forward and win this game. But India don't usually don't start well in these big tournaments. It was the case even in Olympics. There was a time when I used to watch in 1996 Olympics. Again, I think they lost to Argentina. After that, again, somewhere in 2004, in Athens, they had 3-4 matches at the start. They didn't do well, and after that, they had no chance of making a comeback. It was the case for a long period of time. Even in Olympics, somewhere they changed it, broke the jinx in Tokyo, and obviously carried forward in Paris. So that is something similar they have to do in World Cups. It's very important in a big tournament to start well because it gives you that confidence. Suddenly, if in case, I'm not saying it will happen, but if in case India are going to draw a game against Wales, say 2-all or 1-all, after that the pressure will be massive. There will be massive pressure on the Indian team. So in that sense, I think they have to somehow get a victory out of this. Yes, they're the favorites, but even if they come out on top by a 1-0 margin, it's fine. Just get a victory and get a win in your first match, and after that, build on it. If you want to add a little bit on today's encounter between India and Wales.
Absolutely. In the past, we have seen, how slow start have punished multiple teams, in a tournament like World Cup. So India need to avoid that against Wales. They are walking onto the pitch as clear favorite, but at the same time, you can never write off an European nation in world hockey because Wales is the kind of team who can punch above their weight. But since 2020, these two sides have met each other twice, and both the times India emerged as the winner. One was, I think, in the Tokyo Olympic, if I'm not wrong. The second time was the previous Hockey World Cup. That was a home World Cup actually for India, where India defeated Wales by 4-2 margin. But till the third quarter, the game was 2-all. So as you can see, it's not going to be a cakewalk for India. But at the same time, the way the preparation have went on for this Indian hockey team, they should walk past Wales and get off to a flying start to this Hockey World Cup. We'll continue our discussion and but also to our viewers. What's your thoughts? What's your prediction? Let us know in the comment section below. But before I come with my next question for Bharat, let's take a look what actually our hockey stars are saying before this Hockey World Cup.
We are very much happy रिजल्ट को भी लेकर
हाँ, हम एक्साइटेड भी हैं और नर्वस भी हैं क्योंकि इतना बड़ा टूर्नामेंट पे आप जा रहे हो और एक बड़े-बड़े टीमों के साथ
कि सबका यही माइंडसेट है कि इट्स अ अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर अस to be the number one team in the world and then go to Asian Games and be the Asian champions.
And the idea there really is to take the players well beyond their comfort zones, beyond which any hockey match or tournament might take them.
Every match, the girls learned a lot and improved.
बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है टीम में कॉन्फिडेंस दिख रहा है.
Yeah, I think we look at the youth selection with Aditya, one for the future. He needs a tournament, and no disrespect to Raj, he could have played the World Cup as well. He was up playing well, but we also need our full experience in Asian Games.
So I'm happy with the progress we are making.
People who inspire us every day. Harmanpreet Singh will rank as one of the greatest ever. Hardik Singh will rank as one of the greatest ever. That's how good they are. And now with the World Cup and the Asian Games coming up, focus will be singularly on hockey now that the Commonwealth Games is over. Rahul Giri joining me. Rahul will be there on behalf.
As you can see, both the men's and women's contingent are charged up for this Hockey World Cup campaign. And what a day to start the Hockey World Cup campaign. It's 15th August, Independence Day, and it will be a memorable gift if India can start the World Cup on a winning note. In 1936 Berlin Olympics, India clinched gold medal. So now it's remains to be seen whether actually can India get off to a winning start. And also the stadium where India will play against Wales and where most of the matches India will play actually this time. India have when actually India will step onto that pitch, that will bring back a memory from 1973 Hockey World Cup. Though it wasn't sweet because in that 1973 World Cup final, India lost to Netherlands. That was a dramatic final. Unfortunately, India fell short in the tiebreaker. But this time, suppose if India qualify for the second group stage, then obviously there's a chance India might face Netherlands again. So they have an opportunity to take the revenge against the Netherlands team against whom they actually lost in the 1973 final. But we all know, Netherlands teams like Argentina, how difficult they could be for India. But again, we will obviously talk about our India versus Wales game. But before that, Bharat, we should also talk about our Indian women's hockey team as well, because they have been drawn in a tougher group compared to our men's team. So, what's your thoughts on that group? Teams like China, then England, and then South Africa. Can they get past the group stage?
Well, that looks like a tough one. Without even seeing, without even going through those teams, if you just try to imagine that group, you will feel that it's going to be tough one for the Indian women's team. I think England and China, these two teams, will be pretty tough for the Indian women's team. I watched them a couple of years ago. Last 2 years, I watched them reasonably in a reasonable number of matches, right from the Olympic qualifiers, where I was there covering that particular tournament. Uh, During crunch moments, they don't exactly play well. That's what I can tell. Even in that Olympic qualifiers, when they were up against Germany, they looked good in patches. They took it to the obviously the final penalty shootout, and even in that in crunch moments, they kind of faltered. And in the next match against Japan, they obviously faltered and they couldn't qualify for the Olympics. So that is what the Indian team is to look at. But when you think about this present Indian team and when they're going up against especially China and England, you feel that those two teams will be the favorites. But obviously, I'm not saying that I'm not ruling out the Indian team not qualifying to the next round because see, you can never say that a particular team will not progress. But I think it looks quite difficult for the Indian women's side from that particular group.
No doubt, India have been drawn into a tougher group because games like against England or China, it's not going to be easy for our Indian women's hockey team. But this time, Sword Marine is back in charge. In the beginning of this year, under the same coach, actually, India defied all expectation when they finished fourth the Olympics. So we are hoping that this time also Indian women's hockey team will punch above their weight at this hockey World Cup campaign, because if they can get past the group stage and qualify for the second group stage, that will be an incredible result, and that will say that our women's hockey team have also managed to establish themselves as one of the heavyweight nation in the world hockey. But coming back to our men's game against Wales, Bharat, we have spoken about Harmanpreet Singh, Amit Rohidas in the back line, but who do you think the other key players for this men's hockey team in the midfield and in the forward? Which are the players on whom India will rest their hopes on?
More than rest their hopes on. Obviously, you will obviously look at someone like Abhishek Nayan as well when it comes to forward. I'm also looking forward to how someone like Shilanand will play in this particular tournament because I think it's very deceptive forward. From based on what I've seen in relation to one-on-one situations, is the kind of player who can take the ball and score a goal. I think we saw that in the game against Germany in the Pro League. Maybe India were leading 2-1 or it was 1-all. And from nowhere, he scored that goal. So he's someone that I'm looking forward to. I'm not necessarily saying he's a key player, but he could surprise a few because he's very much a kind of deceptive forward. Obviously, back line, you think about even not just Amit Rohidas, there are others like German Preet. Obviously, I interviewed him as well, veteran of many games. If you want to add a little more about the Indian squad or the key players to look out for.
You have spoken about Manpreet Singh, right?
No. I just try to bring in a couple of other names other than the ones that we are going to take on because someone like Shilanand, obviously, a lot of them don't talk about him because I think he's a very deceptive forward. But yes, the kind of key players that you expect. Manpreet, you can add a few more.
Absolutely. I think Manpreet is one of the most capped player in this team. I think his experiences make him apart from the other players. But in Indian midfield, one of the players that I'm looking forward to is obviously Hardik Singh, because he's the engine of India's midfield. He controls the tempo of the team, because the kind of playing style or the philosophy India has under Craig Fulton, Indian midfielders actually have failed to dominate the games in midfield against top teams like Netherlands or Argentina or Belgium or Germany. So that's where comes the role of Hardik Singh or Manpreet Singh as well. Though I don't think it would be that tough against Wales, but when it will come games like England or Netherlands, Hardik Singh, Manpreet Singh, they need to step up for Indian men's hockey team. So India will rely a lot on Hardik Singh as well, as he controls the tempo of the midfield. As Bharat rightly mentioned, Abhishek Nayan, since making his debut in 2023, has been one of the best forward for Indian men's hockey team. The best part of Abhishek is that he's so quick in decision making. He can convert half chances inside the day. So that's making him special for this team. So let's see how India can start their World Cup campaign
Add a
against
word? Can I
Wales.
just add a word
Well,
on Abhishek? Just wanted to add one point on Abhishek.
sure, Bharat.
Because
Sure.
last year, I guess it was in the Asia Cup, I was watching Abhishek Nayan. What I really found it interesting about him was he wasn't just showing flamboyance or flair that you generally expect with him, but he was also playing according to the team's plans in the sense that he was a poacher. Sometimes it felt as if he's a little more of a feeder. He was
Yeah.
not exact. He's not just the typical Abhishek Nayan. He was showing this versatility. That is something that was good to see. Actually, I put this question to him when I interviewed him and asked him about how he was trying to play a little differently in that Asia Cup. He basically said that that is how I want to play in the World Cup as well, more according to the team's plans. Because I'm not saying this is a criticism against him, but that's a school of thought that he sometimes gets carried away with the kind of flair that he has, flamboyance that he has. But in that Asia Cup, I saw a very different kind of Abhishek. And the player I want to add may not be a key player again, but someone in the future to look forward to is one of India's goalkeepers. That is Mohit Hedges. I'm not saying it's because from Karnataka, because I feel he's someone who's a very good talent and someone to look forward to, and someone who seems like a very, very quick learner as well, based on the interview I took.
Absolutely. We have talked about Abhishek Nayan, then Manpreet Singh, Hardik Singh, but they are the established faces in this men's team. But we should also have eyes on players like Rajinder Singh, then Arjun Lalage, then Mohit HS as well, because this time 8 players were set to make their debut at this World Cup. And the best part, we all were talking about that India's pro league has been disappointing. But if you have a close look, the first leg that was in Rourkela, where India lost all the games that they have played during that pro leg, because that time you will remember some star players like Harmanpreet or Hardik Singh, they have been rested. Craig Fulton rather tested his bench. 33 players were tested during this whole pro league.
Starting,
So what actually
that's,
happened?
sorry for disturbing you. I think that's a starting 11. I'm seeing that. Just see the group, starting 11.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's
Yes.
the starting 11. Okay.
Suraj is
Interesting.
starting as goalkeeper. Harmanpreet.
Bharat, why don't you
Yeah,
read
yeah.
out? I will display it on the
Yeah,
screen.
yeah.
Yeah.
Suraj is the goalkeeper as per this.
Okay.
Harmanpreet,
Great.
defense. Rajinder, as you just noted, a promising player to watch out for. Sanjay, Hardik Singh, you already noted. Manpreet, Sumit, Sukhjit, again, and the one I've interviewed. Mandeep Singh, and as expected, Abhishek. So the reserves obviously Mohit, Nilakanta, Aditya Arjun, Dilpreet, Shilanand, Yashdeep, and Amit Rohidas.
And
Subs.
this time we have Mohit HS as well in the goalkeeping department. We all thought that it will be Kishan Pathak, who will be deputy of PR Srijaj after his retirement. But Kishan Pathak have been dropped from this team because of some controversial reason. But Hockey India have stated that he has been rested for this World Cup and the Asian game. As I have already mentioned, that Craig Fulton will have the luxury to try out players like Mohit HS, Arjun Lalage, or Rajinder Singh. Already Rajinder Singh in the playing 11. So that's a power packed playing 11 against Wales. So now it remains to be seen whether India can actually start their Hockey World Cup on a winning note or not. Bharat, final prediction.
Oh, they should win this. I don't know about the goals. See, this is a first match. So when it comes to the first match, as I noted, even if you win it 1-0, obviously you don't expect 1-0 in modern day hockey. But even if you win it by one goal margin, it's absolutely fine. And after that, it's about taking one match at a time. Uh, I just hope that India will come out on top in this first game, because in the past over 32 years, I've seen a lot of times in big tournaments, India don't start well. I'm not saying it happened in the couple of Olympics or on those
Yeah.
lines, last couple of Olympics, but over a period of time, it has been the case. So I just hope that India will start with a win, and I expect India to win this one. If you want to add,
Absolutely, India are the clear. Sorry.
yeah. If you want to add a little more about the prediction, whether India will win by three
Yeah,
goals,
sure.
4 goals.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
For you, I'm asking you if you want to add a little bit about
Oh
that.
yeah, I will. I will. Sure, I will. And of course, India are the clear favorite because Wales are relatively lesser experienced side playing at their second World Cup. But if you see, India are one of the heavyweight nation in the World Cup, so India should win against Wales. But now it remains to be seen whether India can actually execute their plans or philosophy on the pitch or not. India not only they need to win this game, but also if they win by bigger margin, that will help them as well in the second group stage, because goal difference and head to head everything will be carried forward into the second stage as well. So both of our prediction is India should get a winning start to this hockey world cup campaign, but then the real test will be against England, whether India will finish first or second in this pool D. That match will define, that match against England will define that whether India will qualify into the second group stage as the first or second place team from Pool D. So that's it for now. What's your prediction? Let us know in the comment section below, and stay tuned to Rep Sports for the overall coverage of the
Can
Hockey
I,
World Cup
can I just add a
campaign.
small thing?
Will end up,
Just
yeah,
I
sure,
hope
Bharat.
you
Why
don't
not?
get irritated. I hope you don't get irritated by it. Anyway, I hope that India will experiment a little bit. If India start well,
Yeah.
that is, I'm not saying experiment if India don't start well. But if India start well, if India are up by two goals to nil or something on the lines, they experiment a little bit by bringing especially someone like Silanand. I really want to see how he goes, because I think he's a very deceptive kind of forward. So just hope that they experiment a little bit if they're say a goal or two ahead.
You are spot on, Bharat, because I don't think India will have that room against England. Again, they might get that opportunity against Pakistan to try and test their combination before going to the second group stage. But I agree with you. India might try or test some new faces as well today against Wales. So that's it for now. We'll end our show here. But you can share your prediction below in the comment section. And don't forget to join us again after the match in our post-match show. So that's it for now. See you in our next show.